You come home early, heart pounding with a wild, unnameable dread. The door creaks open into darkness. A faint rustle upstairs. Every step down the hallway feels like walking off a cliff.
And then you see it. A flash of skin not yours entwined with the body you thought you knew. In that frozen second, the world you recognized shatters in silence. Your stomach lurches as if gravity itself just gave way. Blood roars in your ears. They leap apart, scrambling for excuses or clothing, mouths shaping words you can't even process. You taste something bitter, metallic dread and heartbreak, as if betrayal has a flavor and it's filling your mouth. In this moment, reality is both hyper-clear and utterly surreal. It feels like the end of your world. But step back and you'll see this scene is ancient. Trade the bedroom for a thatch hut or a firelit cave, and the heartbreak is the same. Across millennia, across cultures, countless souls have stumbled upon just such a moment of treachery. The setting changes, but the pain does not. Betrayal in love is a tale as old as humanity. Ancient epics were written about it. Remember the face that launched 1,000 ships, an entire war ignited by an affair. Kings and queens, peasants and poets, all have tasted this poison. Every culture has its proverbs and punishments for it, every era its scandals. Infidelity is a shadow that has walked beside love since the beginning. Why? The question screams silently in your mind. Why would someone you love, someone who swore to be true, risk everything for a fleeting touch or a secret kiss? Was it something you did? Something you lacked? Or is there a darker truth, something woven into us all, that drives even the devoted to betray? The answer isn't simple or comforting. It reaches far beyond you and your partner, back into the primitive past. Infidelity didn't begin with dating apps or soap operas. It began when life began pairing up at all. Deep in our biology, there are ancient impulses at war with our promises. To truly understand betrayal, we have to face the notion that the urge to cheat might be written into our very DNA. Think of our earliest ancestors. For a man in the harsh world of prehistory, mating with more than one woman meant more chances that his bloodline would live on. If he could have a wife and, in secret, another lover, he might double his offspring without doubling his effort. Nature rewarded that risk. Over generations, the men driven to spread their seed far and wide left behind more of themselves. In our veins flows the legacy of those who got away with straying. And what of a woman in those ancient times? On the surface, she had more to lose by straying. Being discovered could mean loss of her mate's protection, or worse. Yet, there were evolutionary rewards for her too, if she was careful. She might secure better genes for her children by secretly mating with a man of strong stock while her devoted partner provided for her and raised the offspring. In essence, one man to build the nest, another to seed it. It was a risky strategy, but if it worked, her children could inherit advantages from both sources. The blueprint of these strategies still shows in our minds today. Why do many men dread most at the idea of their partner's body being taken by another? Because in the deep past, a man raising a child that wasn't his was the ultimate reproductive failure. And why do many women fear a partner's emotional attachment to someone else even more than a one-night stand? Because an emotionally unfaithful man might divert his protection and resources to another woman and her children, leaving her and her offspring vulnerable. Our jealousies were carved by these ancient stakes. Zoom in closer into the brain's chemistry. New attraction is like a drug. When you meet someone exciting, your brain floods with dopamine and adrenaline. Your heart races, your body trembles, not so different from a hit of some illicit substance. That rush of infatuation is evolution's potion, a reward to push us toward new mating opportunities. It's intoxicating, addictive. An affair can become a fix, a way to feel alive and desired in a blaze of neurochemical euphoria. But here's the catch. That chemical high of new love never lasts. Nature designed infatuation to be temporary. A fever that breaks after months or a couple of years at most. The brain simply cannot sustain that level of ecstasy forever. It downshifts, calms, lets us get back to surviving. Many people mistake this cooling off as falling out of love. They ache for the thrill again, the spike of passion they once felt. And so, rather than working to deepen a mature love, they seek a new flame to feel that fire once more. Some minds are more restless than others. Scientists have even found a genetic clue, a variant in the brain's reward circuitry that makes people more prone to seek novelty and thrills. People with this trait have been shown to stray at nearly double the rate of those without it. In other words, some of us are literally wired to wander. It's a sobering thought that fidelity or infidelity might hinge, in part, on a few twists of DNA. Not every betrayal is driven purely by lust or genetics. There are psychological currents, too, pulling people off course. Some cheat not for sex, but for validation, a desperate ego boost, proof they can still attract desire. Others stray out of loneliness, seeking the emotional warmth they've lost at home. A midlife crisis, a fear of growing old, the ache to feel special, noticed, alive. All these human frailties can open the door to infidelity. It's not an excuse, but it is a reason. A fractured self looking for its missing pieces in someone else's arms. And then there's the thrill of the forbidden itself. For some, the secrecy and danger become part of the allure. Sneaking around turns into a high-stakes game. Clandestine meetings, hushed phone calls, the heart-pounding excitement of almost getting caught. It's the adrenaline of breaking the rules, of stealing pleasure behind the curtain. This dark thrill can cloud judgment and make the forbidden fruit taste sweeter, even as it poisons the life built on trust. Now turn to the aftermath, to the quiet devastation behind closed doors. The betrayed partner is left to sift through the ruins of what they thought was real. Every memory is now suspect. Every "I love you" that once felt warm now cuts like a knife. The confidence and security they had dissolves into humiliation, anger, and a grief that feels like dying. Betrayal isn't just an event. It's a bomb that keeps exploding in the mind again and again, long after the secret is out. And the unfaithful one? If they have a conscience, they're left with guilt that clings like a shadow. They've become the villain in their own love story, the source of someone's deepest pain. In quiet moments, they might wonder why they ruined something precious for something so fleeting. Some try to justify it, to live with themselves. Others are crushed under remorse. Either way, the bridge back to trust is burned, and they know it. They've set fire to their own home for a spark in the dark. The shockwaves of an affair don't stop at two people. Families are shattered. Children, even if they don't know the details, sense the collapse of the world they trusted. One day their home is warm and solid. The next, it's cracked with secrets and resentment. They learn about betrayal before they even understand love, inheriting wounds and doubts that could haunt them into their own relationships. Friends and relatives get pulled into the drama, forced to take sides or quietly withdraw. A single act of infidelity can tear the social fabric around it, one thread at a time. Societies through time have made infidelity a crime, a sin, a scandal, anything to tame this disruptive force. In some ancient codes, adultery was punishable by death. A woman caught with a lover might be stoned or cast out, her life ruined in an instant of judgment. Even today, there are corners of the world where a straying wife can be killed for honor's sake. Meanwhile, history is replete with powerful men who kept mistresses and concubines, their betrayals tolerated or quietly ignored. Publicly, civilization condemns the cheat. Privately, it has often turned a blind eye, especially when power or patriarchy held the scales. And yet, despite all the fear and all the rules, infidelity persists in every era. In modern times, it may wear a polished veneer. Secret profiles on dating apps, flirty messages sent in the dead of night, business trips that turn into stolen weekends. Technology has made temptation more accessible than ever. A private conversation is always just a click away. Surveys quietly reveal that a startling number of spouses eventually stray. We tell ourselves we're more enlightened now, more honest. Yet the old pattern continues, shape-shifting but unbroken. The urge finds a way. We are torn between love and lust, loyalty and longing. Part of us truly yearns to love one person deeply, to build a safe harbor of trust and devotion. Yet another part of us, older and less civilized, hungers for variety, excitement, the spark of the new. It's as if two opposing instincts share one soul, the desire to nest and the urge to roam. This inner tug-of-war is our condition, a human heart forever caught between comfort and adventure. It's a dark irony. Evolution gives us the capacity for deep love, and in the next breath, the impulse to betray that love. We pledge fidelity precisely because something in us is tempted not to. Think about it. We take solemn vows, swear forever in front of family, friends, and gods, as if trying to ward off our own wandering hearts with ritual and oath. We build moral codes and religions that thunder, "Thou shalt not commit adultery," desperately caging the restless animal within. We wrap commitment in promises and gold rings, hoping that will keep our baser instincts in check. And yet, the very need for all these barriers betrays the truth. Without them, we might just follow our desires wherever they lead. Understanding the biology doesn't soften the blow. You can know that humans are wired this way and still feel utterly destroyed when it happens to you. A broken heart doesn't care about evolutionary theories. In the moment of betrayal, it isn't a gene or a prehistoric impulse that you see. It's the face of the person you loved and the choice they made. The cold logic of nature offers no comfort to the one left crying in a dark room. We are creatures of instinct, yes, but we are also creatures of emotion, of promises and trust. And when those are violated, the pain is as real as any physical wound. Human beings, in the end, are a paradox of nature, a pair-bonding species with a penchant for cheating. We crave the security of one true partner, even as part of us scans for alternatives. Biologists would call us socially monogamous. We form long-term bonds to raise children. But we're not strictly sexually monogamous. In plain terms, we seek one person to hold at night, yet still struggle with temptations that wander. Perhaps that is why infidelity hurts so much. It rips apart the delicate balance our lives are built upon. So what now? If infidelity is in our DNA, does that mean we're doomed to hurt each other over and over? Are all our ideals of love and fidelity just a losing battle against biology? This is the unsettling question that knowledge presents us. But knowledge also gives us a strange kind of power. We can't change the animal inside us, but we can anticipate it, understand it, maybe even outsmart it. After all, being human isn't just about having impulses. It's about having the conscience and foresight to choose which impulses to act on. Remember, natural does not mean inevitable. Yes, a part of us is born to cheat, programmed to seek that thrill. But another part of us, the part capable of empathy, of foresight, of love beyond mere instinct, can intervene. We are not slaves to our biology unless we choose to be. Every day, people resist temptation out of loyalty, out of principle, out of genuine love. That choice, that act of defiance against our baser nature, is perhaps what makes human fidelity so meaningful. It's not the absence of desire for others, but the decision that one bond, one promise, is worth more than 1,000 fleeting pleasures. Knowledge, though unsettling, is a form of power. Now you see the hidden mechanics beneath our passions. You see that love isn't a magic spell that banishes all other desire, and that knowing this, you can no longer pretend infidelity is just a moral failing of bad people. It's a risk in all of us. But with eyes open, you can guard against it. You can choose to nurture the connection you have, to keep the flame of your relationship alive so the stray sparks of temptation find no fuel. Or, if you're the one feeling the itch of wandering desire, you can recognize it for what it is. A primal urge, not a mandate, and decide if fleeting pleasure is worth the lasting pain it brings. This truth is not comforting. It's stark and it's dark. But would you prefer the pretty lie? To pretend that love alone immunizes us from temptation, only to be shattered when reality strikes? No. Better a cold truth that keeps your eyes open than a sweet fantasy that leaves you blind. With eyes open, you can see the choices before you. You can see the cliff's edge and decide not to dance so close to it. Uncomfortable knowledge is a burden, yes, but it's also a shield. Use it. Wake up. Don't let this just be another video you nod through and forget. If you stay still now, if you let yourself sink back into the warm, fuzzy lie, then you're just falling back asleep. And if you fall back asleep, you already know what awaits. Life on autopilot, guided by blind instincts, leading you down the same old paths of pain. Choose to stay awake. Let this knowledge sharpen your mind and steel your resolve. Because the next time temptation beckons or suspicion flickers, you won't be sleepwalking. You'll be ready. Before we close, I have a request. In the comments, leave one sentence. Not a reaction, not a slogan or platitude. Just one brutally honest sentence that marks the moment you stopped lying to yourself about this aspect of human nature. We may not control nature's design, but we can defy it. Not with force, but with choice. Inside you, two forces vie for control. One hungers for selfish pleasure, the other yearns for deep connection. One is the wolf of instinct, the other, the wolf of love and loyalty. Which one will you feed? This knowledge is dark, but it gives you the power to choose which side of yourself to feed. Now that you see the game for what it is, how will you play? In a world that urges us to indulge every desire, choosing loyalty is a quiet rebellion. And rebellion, in the name of love, can become a source of meaning. In the end, it all comes down to this. Armed with this truth, you face the hard, sacred task of choosing your path. Disappear now, live. When you return to your life beyond this video, carry this question with you. When temptation swells like a dark tide, are you truly at the helm of your own soul? Or just a sailor carried by an ancient current that cares nothing for the promises you've made?